Hello everybody, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I am Teresa with Keep in Touch Crafts and I'm in Oak Grove, Minnesota. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you catching this on replay, thank you for joining me as well. And hopefully I am live on YouTube and on Facebook on the Keep in Touch Crafts pages. I will try to look for comments and that kind of thing, but as you know, I'm not the best at that. But I definitely look afterwards if I am not able to catch everything during the actual broadcast. Please know that I will check later if you have any questions, if you have comments, if you've got anything for me to post that you have tried that we've made here. I'd love to do that. I'd love to put that up there if you're interested. So this is a great place to get together, share our creative ideas. As you know, I'm a paper crafter. I have been for quite some time. And I am, as I said earlier, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If you are interested at all in doing the same, maybe getting a discount on your purchases, if you'd like to kind of build up your skills and just kind of work together and really deep dive into paper crafting, let me know. I'd love to have you join me. You don't have to do anything to make it a business, that kind of thing, but it is an option if you'd like. We just kind of are building this community and just really enjoy bouncing ideas off of each other and learning from each other. That's half the fun, and getting together, whether it's virtually on Zoom. We can do Zoom parties, we can do Zoom gatherings and bingos or whatever, classes and tutorials. We can also do things that are in person. So we're getting back to that again as well. So hopefully some of those things will come together, and if you're interested, let me know. I do have a few things to show you before we get to our project. One thing I wanted to show you is something going on in May. So I'm going to show you my computer screen here. This is something going on. If you are interested in joining my team or being a discount shopper, as they say, there's a great deal going on and all the information is on my screen. Feel free to take a screenshot or stop it, you know, and just let me know if that's something you're interested in. I would love to talk with you about that. It's just, there's no obligation after you've decided to do a starter kit. You get a lot of product for $99, and there's a great deal going on now. You even get more during the month of May. So let me know. This is 2022. If you're watching this currently here, then that will apply. Otherwise, later on, it won't be around anymore. It's a special deal going on right now. So what I wanted to do now today is we're going to be making a note card holder, and this is going to hold those note cards that we made last week. If you haven't seen that video, it is from May 5th of 2022. So if you go back to our previous videos, you can catch that and see what we did. What we do is take 4 pieces of our designer series paper, and they're all the same size and they're from the same paper pack, so they coordinate together. And we cut those 4 by 5.5, yeah, 4 by 5.25, sorry. And we cut them a certain way, and then we get 4 note cards made out of those pieces of cardstock. And it's a note card set. We're stamping the envelopes or putting designer series paper on those as well. And then we're going to put them in the holder that we're making today. I want to show you on my computer one more thing here. Let me see, I gotta get out of this. So let's go to this page right here. This is the template for what we did last week. Didn't mean to get this highlighted. For some reason, I don't need that blue, but it is. It's going to do that. I guess it won't go away. Anyway, so if you have your designer series paper, you can see that where to make those cuts so that you're going to get 4 different sizes of paper pieces that you're going to be putting on your note card fronts. You're going to mix them up so that you have each of those 4 different pieces. You're going to have one from each of your 4 designer series papers that you've cut, and you're going to piece them together, and I'll show you more what I mean about that. I'm going to take you down to my desktop here. Here are the cards then that we made with those layouts. You can see that we used 4 different pieces of designer series paper, and then we just mixed them up so that each one had one of each piece. So if you look between the 4 of them, you have one of each one of each corner, I guess you can think of it as upper left, upper right, bottom right. And so that template that I just showed you would be what you would use to cut it. Oh, excuse me, gotta take a sip. Goodness. Okay, so now that you have these made, we're going to bring in our envelopes because we want to have the nice envelopes to go with these. So we take our designer series paper and we are going to decorate the envelopes too. We don't want naked envelopes, as they say. I did these 3 already. You can see they coordinate with those note cards. I just wanted to show you how to do that. You have your basic envelope. Oh my goodness. Cut a piece of your coordinating cardstock, or I'm sorry, designer series paper, to 2 1/4 by 6. And that is going to fit on this flap. And we're going to adhere that on there. And so let's bring in, I'm going to use a Stampin' Seal. You can use that, or you can use, let's see what else. If you have the liquid adhesive, you could use that as well. Pretty much any adhesive will work well for this. We're just putting that right on that flap. It's just big enough to kind of fit right on there. Smooth it down, very simple here. And then we're going to trim around. So I'll show you how I did that. Just a simple trim. And that is going to really dress up those envelopes for this note card set. So everything will coordinate really nice together. Okay. And we're going to get all fancy. Okay, that is our envelopes then. You can see this back flap will show that paper, and each of those have a different pattern on them to have the 4 different colors that we are featuring in this pack. Okay, next thing we need to do then is make that holder. So what we're going to do is bring in a piece of designer series paper. That's the patterned paper, whichever one you want from that set. I'm going to show you here. This set has all of these gorgeous sun prints on it, and any of these would be just fine. Just kind of wanted to show you that paper again. And you could use the other side too. You know, any of those, whichever is your favorite, whichever you have the most of, that kind of thing. You could use any of them. So what I'm going to do then is bring in, I decided to use this color. This is our terracotta tile color. And let's see, what we need to do is cut a 12 by 12 piece down. We're going to cut it down to 9 inches, 9 by 12. So you're taking your 12 by 12 and cutting a 3-inch strip off so that it's 9 by 12. And we are going to need to do some scoring as well. So you can see that this was cut down. I did that already to that 9-inch width. So it's 9 by 12. So the first thing we're going to do is, with the shortest edge to the top, we're going to do scoring of 2 lines, or 2 sections here. The first score mark is at 2 1/4. So you can see here, I'm just going to go over to 2 1/4, and I am going to use my scoring blade. Oh goodness, I can't see today. Okay, and we have it at 2 1/4, using the scoring blade, and just really a light touch with that because this is a little bit lighter paper than cardstock is, so we don't want to tear that. So the next one is 6 3/4. And we'll do another score there. Now you can rotate the paper so that the 12-inch side is up. And then we're going to make 2 score lines. One is at 6 inches and one is at 7 inches. Okay. Now we have a few other things to do. I don't know if you can see those score marks at all. Probably not that well, but what we can do is we have a little more work to do. Let's go ahead though and do a little bit of marking on here, and we'll go ahead and fold and burnish. So if you have a bone folder, that's a very important tool that works nice for this paper crafting here. You want a nice crisp fold on all of those score lines. So we have those two, and then this direction there's two as well. So there's one and two. Okay, so you can kind of see how that looks at this point. The next thing we're going to do is make some angled cuts, and we're going to do a little marking. So go ahead and grab a ruler if you'd like, or a pencil. I have this grid paper here too that you could use, but I am going to grab my ruler and mark. What I'm going to mark at is 2 1/4 inches. So the first thing I'm going to do is mark up where these are intersecting, these 4 spots. And this is just so you can see it a little bit easier as you're going to be doing some scoring. So mark there at those intersections, and then you're going to be marking 2 1/4 inches in from each of these lines here. And what I mean by that is, I hope you can see. Oops, that would be helpful, right? If you could see it. Okay, so 2 1/4 is at right here. And I want to go 2 1/4 in from that score line, this one. Okay, so we're making a mark there. And we're going to repeat that on this other side. 2 1/4 inches from this score line. A dot. Now you can make yours a little less obvious, but I want you to be able to see them, so that's why mine are a little bit darker. They just erase off anyways, and they really aren't going to show. The next thing we want to do then is make some score lines from one point to the other point, like that. Okay, you can do this with your trimmer, and I'll show you that way. You can do it with, if you happen to have a little scoring tool that has a ball on the end of it, you could score that with your ruler by just going like so and scoring that with that tool. For example, we have a take your pick tool, has that end on it, and you can use there's a large kind of a ball end and a smaller ball end. So that would work well. I'm going to use the smaller end, but what you would do then is use your ruler, and doing this probably on a little foam might be easier, but I'm going to show you one of the sides with this technique and one with my actual trimmer. So you can see I'm just lining up these marks right there and giving it a nice score to give that a crease diagonally. Okay, if you have the trimmer and you don't have the scoring tool that I just showed you with the ruler, you can do it with your trimmer as well. You just want to line up the area that you want marked or scored in the track here, the track of the trimmer. So I am putting the trimmer, this track right there, and you're thinking, well, you can't see where this is going. That's true. So if you close it, you can kind of see where that's going to be, and just make sure it's kind of lined up in that groove, this little track area. Then scooch your trimmer to where you want it to start, and then just kind of score lightly that direction. Let's see if, yep, it worked. Can you see that? It scored from this dot to this dot. So that's another way that you can do your scoring. And I'll do this other side as well. And I'm kind of guessing, eyeballing it where that might be. And here's the other one. We'll kind of close that a little bit. Don't want to get it kind of messed up down here on the bottom. I don't want it kind of getting bunched up in the track, but I am going to scoot it over just a little bit. And then we're gonna go ahead and do another score there. That looks pretty good. So you can see, hopefully, you can see that I have those diagonal lines now scored onto this project, okay? All right, you do want to also get some cardstock. And you don't need a very large piece. You just need a piece that is 4.5 by 5. And you score it at 2 and 3. So here is cardstock. I had cut this ahead of time. This is 5 inches by 4.5. And then I scored it if you had the long side up. So with the 5-inch side edge up, you score it at 2 inches and 3 inches. Okay, you can't see it that well, but I did go ahead and run this through my embossing machine with our with the coordinated embossing folder that comes with this suite, or is in our new catalog. This is called the Fern 3D embossing folder, and you can see how that looks, like so. So I put that through like that, and that's putting that nice matching fern print on there that is on the paper. So it really helps it to coordinate, and those score marks are still on there. And that is going to be put on the top of our note card holder. All right, we can go ahead and do a little bit more. Whoops, there went my trimmer blade. All right, if that ever happens to you, if you have a trimmer and your blade falls off, it's super easy to get it back in. There is a little bit of an opening in the track right here, and you just push it in there and it goes right back on there, and they stay on. If you happen to do something with it in that little spot, it could come out, because that's where you change the blades and stuff. So if that happens, you just set it right down in there and it'll fall right back into that track. So that's a nice trimmer because you can score and cut both. All right, so you can see the coordinating paper, but this is the side I am going to have showing, and that's so pretty. I just love it. I think it's gorgeous. Now we're going to be going ahead and scoring on those diagonal scores that we just did. And you just kind of angle that over and give it a nice crease. It just kind of cooperates pretty easily with those score lines, and that's really going to make that gusset in there really nice. And it'll cooperate pretty well, I think. Let's see which way I got to go here. And we're going to crease this one. Oh, I've got all thumbs. And one more. I'm trying to do it so you can see it. And I don't think I'm really succeeding. Okay. There we go. So how this comes together is, this is going to be, this longer side is the back, the shorter side is going to be the front. And, okay, let me see what I'm doing here. I think what I want to do is score this, actually the opposite, I bet. Let's see here. Like this and like this. Yeah, I want these scored back. So you want this a mountain fold. It really doesn't matter, because just when you're breaking the fibers for scoring it, it's easier to go ahead and redo it the other direction if you need to. That probably makes no sense, but what you see how these score marks here all go kind of inward, right? Down this direction. And that's kind of like a valley, what they call a valley fold. These diagonal score marks, you're going to score those up this direction, so it's more like a mountain fold. So it just is back. Does that make sense? And so that is going to get those going the right direction for you. So we can give them a little bit more of a crease so that they're going to want to go the way we want. Okay, Now what we're going to do is get this to come up this way. Look at that. It just does it. So before I am going to show you where to put, where you're going to go ahead and put, tear and tape, adhesive, that kind of thing to get it. But this is going to come together like so. And this is the side. You can see it's got a 1-inch depth. And so however your projects, you just want it to be able to fit into a 1-inch depth box. And here's the bottom. Okay. And we're going to decorate it a little bit and adhere it down nice and sturdy so that it all stays together well. And what we're going to do is this piece, as you know, was the 4.5 by 5 scored at the 2 and 3. This piece is going to go inside of the back. Or I'm sorry, what am I right on that? Let me think. Yeah. The long side is here. This is longer, and this part right here, that's the back. You're going to be putting this in here like that. Now I think what I ended up doing was trimming this down just a titch. So instead of it being the width of this 4.5, I just shaved off just a hair on that side to make it a little bit less so that it doesn't buckle when it's inside of this Designer Series paper layer there. And we're going to adhere that in there like so. And it is going to become a flap. Let's put that on there. I would suggest either you can use the seal, works fine. So would our liquid adhesive, that would work well also. And so would our tear and tape, which I think I'm going to use tear and tape. It's very strong. And you can put it all on your project and then kind of adhere it all together at once. This size, this one has, I think they're both pretty much the same. So it doesn't really matter which edge, I don't think. Let me double check. Here's my pattern that I had. This one was around 2, and this one was around 2. Yeah, so they're both, each of these flaps are roughly 2 inches, just a little bit less. So it doesn't matter which one you adhere to here, to this portion. But you might want to keep in mind which part of this flap do I want to show the most. So I'm going to have this flap show, and I want to put some tape adhesive on this part. So that's what I'm going to do right now while I have that correct spot in mind. I'm putting my tear and tape down, giving that a little press, and you just, as it's called, tear and tape, you just tear it once you get it into place, and then you just remove this little liner once you're ready to adhere it to your project. Alright, so you can be precise with where that goes. Then another thing we're going to do is put the adhesive on our project, and I'll show you where those spots are. We're going to start with at the very end of each of these narrow panels. So you can, I'll kind of show you that. I'm going to put some here and here. Okay. And then also on this portion right by that diagonal crease, but you don't want to go over that mark that we made. Okay, so continue around, and this is the inside portion of your box, Designer Series paper, the inside of it. Okay, and one more. We are going to do one other spot a little bit more on the other side also. We really want this to hold together. It's going to be having to support, 4 cards, 4 note cards, and 4 envelopes. And then on this back side, you're going to put some tear and tape then. I don't know if you can see very well. This is that diagonal portion right here. And I want to put a piece of tear and tape right next to the score line on this. Actually, this is the side that we are showing, but this won't show. But that's the side. You want it on the outside of your box, your note card holder. So you can see here where this is going. Here is that triangular portion here, and you're putting it next to the score line. We're going to do that on all 4 triangles. And this is going to adhere the side little pocket piece into place. Give those a press. That's, ooh, that was good. That's what really makes tear and tape work well, is if you do burnish it after you're getting it where you want it to go. Just give it a good burnish with the bone folder, and that will really help it to adhere all the more. So I'm going to go ahead and do that a little bit on all of those pieces here so they are adhered well. This liner will come off. Oops, I forgot one. One more. Okay. I'm hoping we don't lose power or anything. We're in a tornado watch, so if something happens, you know why. Hopefully nothing will. I'm trying to get through this before any bad weather comes. It's been such a weird spring here in Minnesota. Unbelievable. Okay, next, let's go ahead and adhere this portion to this back piece. Remember, the back piece is larger than the front piece. So this longer part is the back, and this is going to be the front. So I want to adhere this right there, okay? So let's go ahead and take the tear and tape liner off. This is Calypso Coral, if you're wondering the color. It coordinates with this paper. And I want it to go like this on there. So I am going to line up right here, right inside of that area. I'm hoping where I put it is good right here. I haven't really pressed it down yet, but now it seems like that's about right. So I'm giving it a good press, making sure it's adhered really well. And then we're going to go on to the next piece. I kind of want to give you an idea of how this comes together. It's going to be like that, okay? That flap goes down in the front. Or, yeah, that's pretty much the front. Now this gets adhered here. That's what those triangle pieces, where they go. But before I do that, I want to do these inside corners. Each one has those 2 strips to take the liner off of. All right, there's one. This is the other use for the take your pick tool. I had showed you earlier, I happen to have 2 of them, but when you get one of them, it comes with all of these ends on there, and they're interchangeable. You can take them off. And so this is good for dies. You've probably seen me use this before. It helps get the little paper scraps out of the detailed dies. And then there are these scoring ends. And we have this pointy end, which is super nice for what I'm using it for. That's probably the one I use the most. This spatula end is nice for embellishments and lots of other things too, getting wax liners off. And then this is great for picking up things. It's got a little tacky putty on it, and it'll pick up your embellishments, that kind of thing, because it has that tackiness that it'll pick it up. All right, so let's, I digress. Back to work. All right. And we can do them all at once. Just be careful so that, just know it's very sticky. So if you accidentally fold it over and you have the liner off, it'll stick. So you want to be kind of careful with where you put it until you get it in place. Okay, so it just folds right over like that. And this side will do the same. It folds right over. It's not being adhered in this area, that's what we want. Just give that a nice fold down. And you can see it's going to pop up like this. Okay, which makes that center box. And then to make it kind of stay in place, that's where these pieces come into play. And that'll be next. All right. So we can just line up these edges as we bring this up. I want this to get nice and square if possible, which that wasn't. And it's stuck already. Okay, we'll try it better over here. It's just not going where I want it to go. I'm trying to do it with my arms out and not in the right place. Uh-oh, it's storming. Okay, I'm giving it a press on the inside here. Now when you do it, you can be more careful than I was. See, this did not come together where I wanted it to because I was in a hurry. So don't do that. You'll want to line that up really well. Otherwise, the other ones are pretty good. You can pinch it in to make kind of a gusseted area if you want, but it just depends on how you want that to fall. But you can see that it comes down here like so. That's how it's going to be on the side. All right, I love this paper. Oh, so pretty. And that will come down on the front. You can always make it longer on the front if you'd like, but I'm going to use some embellishments, make a little tag and decorate that up a little bit, make it snazzy, and we'll do that next. Now for a closure, there's a couple of things you can do. You can get those, I don't know what they're called, but they're two circles with the string that kind of goes like this. That's one thing you can do. I did not do that. I opted for magnets and Velcro. So I will show you my samples in a bit. I'm just gonna, for this one, I'll show you how I put the Velcro on. Another use you can do is some magnets that I had just got these off. Oh, not that one. I grabbed the wrong one. Okay, I'll get the proper tin. Okay, I can do this. Sorry guys, 1 second. I'm just grabbing the tin that actually has the magnets in it that I want to use. So I got these off of Amazon probably, and these are 5, it says magnets, 5, I don't know, can you see that? Can you read it? Okay, that is what I got them off of, like I said, off of Amazon, and they're teeny tiny. I can't even open it today. See how little they are. Oops, hello, I can do this. See that? Okay, very small, and there's like 200 of them here. They are teeny. I'll show you. Of course, if you have little kids or whatever, you don't want those around. But they go on perfectly with glue dots because our glue dots are almost that exact same size, very thin. And I do have a sample that I used magnets on. Very, very nice to use as well. You just kind of need to hide them a little bit. So I'm going to show you, though, we probably might have more access to Velcro. And what I do is just take and match up One of them's kind of the rougher and one is the softer. Just match that up. And I just cut it in half because I didn't really feel like I needed 2 complete circles. If you want, you can. And then I just adhere the rougher piece up here on this side and the smoother or the softer one here. And what I usually do is do the softer one first, and I put that just along this edge like that. And the other one I'm going to put over on this side. Again, I'm just making sure that not that it's a big deal probably. I guess it might not matter, but I usually do the softer side down on this bottom part. Then you can remove the liner piece to expose the adhesive for the other half, and we'll just put the flap down in place, and then that will be right where we want it. But what I want to encourage you to do is make sure it doesn't go too far down, or if it's too far up, you kind of want this to be at the right angle, so kind of watch that. I just kind of want it like there maybe. And this side you want it to be even. And give that a real good press. And then those will be in the right spot for your note card holder. Whoa, isn't that cool? All right, but we still need to dress it up a little bit. I'm going to bring in some tag stuff. We're going to make some tags. And what I'm using is, I'm going to use my embossing, not embossing, I'm going to use my die cutting machine, just the little one that we have. We're going to make tags. We're going to make these little hole covers, I guess you'd say. So this comes from, where is this set now? This is called Tailor Made Tags, and this is a die set. I'm going to make the tags from that, and so you can have 2 different styles. I have another sample of some that I made that has just a little bit more of a flourish on it. This is a more angled, kind of a basic tag. This one has a round hole. This one has kind of an oval hole. So this one cuts the round hole, kind of covers, I guess you'd say. And this one is more for that oval size. So I'm going to do that one, and I'm going to use those 2 larger sizes for my tags. I'm going to cut the larger tag out of the designer series paper that matches what we just used, and I'm going to use the smaller one then out of the basic cardstock, but I do want to stamp one image on there first. Let's bring in, I'm going to use the stamp set and the Calypso Coral. This is the stamp set we used when we made the actual cards that are in there. So you can make them to match. You could do this any way you want. You could put a sentiment on this tag. I'm not going to. I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that right on there. You could use a different color too if you wanted to add a little more color to it instead of just monochromatic like I'm doing. And I know that this is bigger than the tag that we're cutting, but that's okay. We're just going to cut it out wherever we want from this stamped image. Okay, there we are. I'm going to close up my ink here. Get this out of the way, and here is the tag size that I'm going to cut out. I'm just going to use, you could do it off center, I guess, if you want. Just however you want that tag to look. I know the image is bigger, obviously, than the tag, but that is okay. That's kind of the look I was going for on that. And we will go ahead and do some die cutting then of these different dies that we want to run through. So this is our small stamp and cut and emboss machine. It's just got a let's see how wide these are. This is a 3.5 inch width opening. So it's not going to fit everything in your stash, but it does do a lot. It's so nice just to keep this on your desktop. And then it's very handy for a lot of these day-to-day things that we do. It's not going to work for everything, that's for sure, because we have all different sizes and bigger and that kind of thing. But it works great for a lot of things. So here is the larger one. And this die is nice because it also puts, it cuts the circle out and it puts the stitched edging on there. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, and so I'm going to set that one aside. Then we are going to do, mine are all beat up. I should replace my plates, I think. I'm deciding where I want to put this. It can kind of go anywhere. Maybe off center would be good even. I don't know. Let's just do that. This is where you make it yours, however you like to do it. And you can see this is not hard. It's just, it's once you've kind of done it a few times, you can see it's very doable. All right, one last thing I'm going to do for die cutting was this one for those holes. And I had gotten just a piece of our foil paper. This is our brushed metallic foil. I think this is our darker color. You can use whatever you have. You could use silver. Or if you have something that coordinates well with your project, maybe some of your note cards had a metallic look to them or something like that in there that would match well. Whatever you have. And so I'm going to make these little hole covers. Cut those out. All right, that's all we need that for. Very good. You can see it makes it cut out 3 of them. I only need 2, but that's how that works. You see those? Okay, I won't need those centers, but I'm going to use 2 of those, and I want to adhere those onto our tags that we just made. All right, we don't need that die anymore. And I'm just going to use, I'll probably just use a little of our liquid adhesive. Let's see if I have that opened up. I don't even think I have one open right now, so I'm going to quick do that here. And this has 2 ends. I almost always use this smaller one, but it works very well. What I like about the liquid adhesive, as I've said many times probably, is that it gives you a little room or a little time to kind of scoot it around if you need to get it right into place. And then it kind of sets up. You do have to be careful so it doesn't ooze out too much. Otherwise, you're going to get a little bit of a mess, but a little bit of a shiny residue, I guess you'd say. And we don't want that, but of course, being the messy stamper I have to admit that I am. I've found lots of ways to hide that and get it off, especially if you use, here is one eraser that works well and gets adhesive off, and of course this one I've used many times also. They both can get any of that shiny adhesive off that maybe is kind of oozed out a little bit. And one more, we'll do this other tag. It just adds just a little bit of a flourish to it and dresses it just a titch. I probably wouldn't normally worry about it, except they're already part of the dies, and so that is just nice to have that little added embellishment, I guess. Oh boy. So that's probably that's how you get liquid adhesive all over, is by doing that method that I just did. And I don't know if you can see, it kind of adds a little, yeah, I don't know if you can tell if with the adhesive kind of oozing on there, but I will go ahead and get that off as it's drying. If you do it too soon, it'll just kind of make the whole thing move around. But these are the tags that we're going to use on our note card box that we have here. And I'm going to get a little ribbon now. This is the same ribbon I used on the actual cards. You can coordinate it with whatever you have. Lots of ways to get those on here. Let's see here. Let's put this right through these holes here. Now, I didn't put a sentiment on the outside. You could, you know, it could be to my good friend, or you're great, or what, you know, whatever you want for a sentiment on there. But I chose just to have that decoration kind of on it. And this is going to go like that, okay? And you can decide how you want that adhered on. What I'm going to do for now is just kind of make a little loop. And actually what I could do too is adhere this on and just kind of wrap it around like so. That would work nice. Just kind of depends on how you want to do it, but that would show, you'd have to kind of have that raw edge showing here if you did it that way. So what I think I'm going to do is, can you tell I'm kind of changing my mind? There's so many different ways you can do this. What I'm going to do is have this hidden. What I'm doing right now is going to be hidden behind the tag. So I am just going to wrap this around, and I will be adhering that into place. It probably would be better than tape would be the glue dots. That would be probably a better adhesive for it. It might be stronger than this tape is. So let's bring in some glue dots. They work well with ribbon. They're probably my #1 ribbon choice. And you just press it on there, and it has that glue dot right on the project, or right on the ribbon already. And so I'm bringing that around, making sure it's kind of straightish. And it meets right up there. And that press is going to get that adhesive down onto the paper, but also onto the other layer of ribbon. Excuse me. And then I'm going to be adhering that, the actual tags here, they are going to be adhered on with, I want to have like a bow, or a bow to cover that up, so it'll be like that, okay? And what's the best way to do that? Well, I'm going to go ahead and just make a bow out of this ribbon. And if bows aren't your thing, you could just do like a knot, kind of a loop for it, whatever decorative means you want to use. I'm just keeping the ribbon right on the roll. That's kind of what I usually do. Works just fine to do it that way. And then you kind of have to fuss a little. You're going back and forth just to get it nice and even and kind of looking good. Because like that's too big. I'm trying to get it a little smaller. You can see each time I fuss with it, it gets it a little bit neater. It just doesn't like to pull through too much with this. It's not very slippery, but that's nice that it does hold its shape once you get it into place. Okay, I'm going to give that a little cut on the tails here. And I am going to use something really strong on the back, which is tear and tape. And let's find that again here. Where did tear and tape go? All right, my tear and tape is, right here. Missing in action, I thought. First of all, I want to match up those holes, and I'm going to put a little tear and tape just on the back of this one, and I'm going to make it seem like it might be adhered with ribbon, but it's just kind of a faux adherence. How's that? A faux look, faux tying, I guess. Just going to kind of angle that a little bit. You can see that there are two different sizes, of course. There are 2 smaller ones that come in that set also. And I'm going to adhere that there, about like that. Okay, and I also want this strong tape on there. Okay, almost done, guys. Hope you like it. I hope this is a project that you might consider doing. You can do this box with any finished note card set. You know, whatever you're using. You don't have to, of course, do with what we just did, but it is a good way to make a box that coordinates with whatever your note cards are that you've made. Okay, and again, I'm going to use a glue dot on this. Okay, bring the ribbon to the glue dot. And you can almost do 2 if you're concerned. You know, sometimes the ribbon is hard to keep on. Not that I think it really had to have 2, but just to be sure. And then I'm going to kind of cover up some of that, but it'll still show. Give it a good press, make it really grab on. And trim these ribbon pieces a little bit more. Oops, I don't have the right scissors. I have a pair of snips that is just for ribbon, and I didn't grab them because I was trying to go too fast or something. Oh, here they are. Well, too late now. Anyways, I have some that I designate just for that because you can see these get adhesive on them and stuff, and then I hack away and it doesn't look as good. All right, there is our finished box. You can, I've also had some where I wrapped the ribbon around the back too and kind of decorated that up more. But let's put our cards in there. We have our beautiful envelopes. So this one, you know, they all match. I guess it doesn't really matter. There's 1 and 2. 3 and 4. They are going to fit right in here, nice and neat, tidy. Okay, you could see that, how they're fitting in there. Plenty of room. You could probably do 6 maybe, because it's, you know, pretty nice the way it is there. Match up the Velcro, give that a push. And there we are, a beautiful note card holder. Such pretty paper. Boy, this really showcases that Sun Prints paper. And then this would be a great gift. And there are the note cards on the inside. Yay! All right. That, oh, hey, you know what you can do too? What I meant to do, I almost forgot. One thing. And that is, if I can figure out where I put them again, is that's the bling. You got to have a little bling on there too. So I need my bling. And what I decided to do is, this is the basic jewels type thing, rhinestones, there we go, that I used last time, or on all the note cards. These are larger ones, but I am going to do the same thing and color them to match this. So I'm going to do 3, and I'm just going to use 3 large, and you can see what that blend marker does. It makes a huge difference, and it makes it'll match about anything. So here are the 3 that I just colored for this project. Definitely are a lot different. It really, really is a fast and easy way to get the color you want on your project. So we're going to go with, ooh, you probably can't even see what I'm doing hardly. Okay, there we go. I should have used my other end, and that's what I'll use next. Now, where do I want these? I'll put one here, and I'll show you how this end works. We're going to, you kind of press and scoot a little bit, and it should lift it up like that. And they already have adhesive on the other side. And so I'll put one there. Just Just giving them a little press. And then one more. I'll put, I don't know. Put it, I just can't decide, you guys. I'm bad at this. Because there's no, like, rules. Just kind of whatever jumps out at you. All right, there is our project with our necessary rhinestones on it. Okay, done. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, you guys. I hope you liked the project, and let me know what you think. I'd love to see your samples as well. Try this with whatever you have at home, whatever designer series paper packs you have. It does work best if you can start with 12 by 12 piece and cut it down. Instead of the 8.5 by 11, you could probably find a way to do that as well. But if you need any of these measurements, that kind of thing, I am going to be posting this on my blog. Hopefully tomorrow. Ooh, I think it's hailing. Yikes, perfect timing. Anyways, so let's see if I have a little overlay for you to see what my website is. Did I do that? Yeah, there we go. Go to keepintouchcrafts.com. And in about a day or so, I should have all those dimensions up for making note cards and the note card holder. Okay. Thanks again for joining me. Have a great